Welcome to the Possibility Mindset Podcast. I'm Devin Henderson, your host, and I believe something greater is always possible for you. All right, well, this is a very exciting episode. I'm doing a first today. I am recording the podcast from a hotel room. That's right. Here I am in a hotel. I brought my setup. Got the camera, got the mic. It's kind of funny how I have things propped up here. It's like I got a drawer pulled out. I've got my laptop stacked on towels and clothes, and there's wires. And sometimes I'm like, did I overcomplicate this? But I want it to be quality. I want you to hear, and if you're watching, to see well. So got the shades open. You know, it's nice and bright in here. And where am I? Well, I am in Madison, Wisconsin, because I have a keynote tomorrow for a credit union, which I'm super pumped about. It's going to be so fun. Now, I came from Tampa Bay, Florida. I just got in last night, and I was there for a 3-day youth conference, and I was going to try to record the podcast there and just never got around to it because it was too crazy. And I have like an entire day here because the conference ended yesterday, which was Saturday, and my keynote is tomorrow here in Madison, which is Monday. And so I was going to go home, but then I realized I would have gotten home late Saturday night and then left again Sunday morning. So yes, I would have gotten to, kiss my babies, hug my wife. But then I thought, man, I'm adding a day of travel in there. So I decided I'm just going to come straight here. So here I am. And it's been honestly a great day so far. I'm loving today. I got up. I woke up early. I didn't set an alarm. I've just been waking up early. I got up at like 5:30. So I got up. I was like, okay, let's get the day started. And I walked down to the Capitol. I've never been here in Madison, and it's like a college town. I guess it's the University of Wisconsin, the Badgers. So I do want to go down to the campus and just walk around, check it out. It's summertime, so it's going to be kind of quiet, but it's one thing I like to do. I like to walk around new college campuses, and I like to walk around Capitol buildings. It's kind of my thing. It seems like I speak a lot in capital cities. And one thing I just like to do is just to go down to the Capitol, get a selfie with the building, and kind of check it off the bucket list. So walked down to the Capitol today, and there's 2 lakes apparently on either side of, I think north and south of where I'm at. So I'm going to try to get to one of those lakes today and take a walk. But went out to the Capitol, took a walk, came back, worked out, got an incredible breakfast here at the DoubleTree, which is where I'm staying, DoubleTree downtown Madison, and breakfast. I got a workout in, and then breakfast was on the hotel. They gave me a voucher. They gave me 2 vouchers. Actually, they gave me 3, and I'm only going to be here for 2 mornings. So that third voucher, either I'm going to have a second breakfast, like they say in Lord of the Rings, or I'm going to give it away to someone else and be like, here you go. So yeah, that's fun. So breakfast was awesome, and here I am, and I've got the whole day ahead of me. That doesn't happen very often when I'm traveling. Usually it's like it's a travel day, do a gig, travel home, but I had time today. So here I am coming from Madison instead of Tampa. And this morning my server down in the restaurant of the hotel, her name was Charlotte, and I have a daughter, Charlotte. So I was like, hey, you have like the coolest name, and she was awesome. She did a really good job serving me. So thank you, Charlotte, for being so awesome. Man, they really did. They had a full breakfast spread. I had bacon, I had sausage, I had eggs, I had oatmeal, I had fruit, coffee. And you know what? I just realized Charlotte did a good job. Charlotte, if you listened to the podcast last week, you know that when you put the mouth hole right over the crack, it dribbles, but she didn't do that. She put it opposite side. Way to go. I just noticed that. So nice. Now, when I was getting on the elevator, there was a young couple, and they were, you could tell they were kind of fun. And when we got on the elevator, he said, "Hey, what floor?" And I was like, "Okay, number 4." So he pushed 4 for me, and I had 2 coffees in my hand. I had a mug, I had this mug, and then I had my to-go cup. And so it would have been hard to get over there and push the button. I could have done it, but he was standing right there, and so I was like, "Thanks for thanks for asking, what floor. I didn't want to come over there and spill coffee on you. So we started joking about coffee, and I was like, sounds like I have experience like this. Like, hey, you don't want to go there. Don't want to spill coffee on people. But the reason I'm telling you this story is because it was really cool. Sometimes elevators, you don't talk. It's like when you go into the bathroom, you don't look at people, you don't talk. Of course, but even when you're washing your hands in the bathroom, this is going too far. But you just, there's like these unspoken rules. Elevators, bathrooms, now people, even like on airplanes, you just don't talk to people. So it's so refreshing to have someone like banter with you a little bit and have a good time. Now, this leads into today's confession of a motivational speaker, because I had a different confession plan, but I'm going to save that for later because I thought of this one while I was talking with this couple on the elevator. So as they were getting on the elevator and I was getting on with my coffees, I was thinking, how am I going to ask him to push number 4, right? Not that I was nervous to ask, but the confession is sometimes I think way too hard to try to sound cool when I'm saying something. Okay, so in other words, instead of just getting on the elevator and saying, hey, would you mind pushing 4? I was already in my mind going, how am I going to word that so that I sound cooler? And I was thinking like I could say like, hey, could you punch 4 for me? Or, hey, would you mind hitting 4? Like punch, hit. It went violent. I don't know why. I guess violence is cool. No, it's not, kids. No, violence not cool. So anyway, and then I get on, but he asked me, and so I didn't have to like deliver my very cool phrase of which what I decided in my mind was, hey, can you punch 4 for me? And there's just something about I just want to sound cool. I don't know. I don't want to sound so literal. Would you mind pushing 4? It's like, hey, hit 4, baby. And there's just some people that I've known over time that have a cool way with all of their words. They just, everything they say comes out cool. Or they never say it the way you would expect. They put a little spin, a little twist on it. And I don't know if they're just creative or if they're just around a lot of people who talk cool. So that's the confession today. I want to sound cool. All right. Take that confession as you will. All right. So since I didn't get the podcast recorded when I was in Tampa, I didn't get it out on time, which was supposed. I'm shooting for every Thursday, and of course, I'm still very early in this journey, and I was really hoping to get it out by Thursday. So now it's Sunday, right? It's like we could put it out today, but I'm like, oh, do you do it 3 days late, or do I just save this for the next week? I haven't decided yet. I'll kind of talk to the team and see what they recommend on that. So last week it was going to be, I was going to record it and be like, hey, happy 4th of July, but it's kind of late for that now. But still, I want to say happy 4th. I want to say thank you so much if you're military, active military, or veteran. Thank you for your service. We appreciate that. Also, firefighters, police officers, thank you for your service. Whenever I pass police officers, I always say, hey, thank you for your service. It's kind of obvious. It's a given. You do it with military people. It's just like, but police officers also, they put their lives on the line. And, my kids hear me say this. And recently, my daughter heard someone say, the reason we thank police officers is because when everyone else is kind of just like the military, when everyone else is running from danger, they are running to danger. So always thank them. And my daughter looked at me and she said, so that's why you always say to officers, thank you for your service. And I was like, exactly. So thank an officer today, a police officer, thank a firefighter, or thank someone from the military. All right. Let's see. What have we got planned for today? Today, it's coming. It's going to be basically about enjoying the journey. Right, and so I wanted to give you a little plug. That's where this is going. But first, I wanted to give you a last week the coffee cup thing, right? About the hole not being over the crack so your drink doesn't dribble. Kind of opened up an idea for like a new segment, and the segment would be trivial complaints, things that are like, okay, we complain about these things, but think about how good we have it. So I just thought it'd be fun to like give some of these trivial complaints. And so I have another one, and it reminded me of Weird Al Yankovic's song. Yankovic or Yankovic? Weird Al. Anyway, in 2014, he came out with a song, and it was First World Problems. So I'm going to read just the first verse to you. It's, my maid is cleaning the bathroom, so I can't take a shower. When I do, the water starts getting cold after an hour. I couldn't order off the breakfast menu because I slept in till 2. Then I filled up on bread, didn't leave any room for tiramisu. Oh no, there's a pixel out on the corner of my laptop screen. I don't have any bills in my wallet small enough for the vending machine. Some idiot just called me up on the phone. What? Don't they know how to text? OMG. So I love that. I think it's like, when I'm complaining about the trivial things, it's just good to remember I have so many blessings to be thankful for. So I want to remember that whenever I have trivial complaints. Remember to also count your blessings. So here's my trivial complaint for today. Button fly jeans. Why? I don't get it. Now, I was talking to my wife about this, and she said, well, it's kind of a style thing now, and she has a pair of button fly jeans, and I get it. If it's in style and it looks cool, but here's my problem with it. Sometimes I'll be in a store, and it's hard enough for me to shop for pants. I don't know what it is, my body or whatever. It's just hard to find just the right pants, right? And I'm really super picky. They have to be stretchy. They have to fit right everywhere. Yeah, I sound like everybody, don't I? Anyway, sometimes I get to the dressing room, and on the way, I'm thinking, these are like perfect. It's my size. It's the right color. It's the right fit. And I get in there, and I pull them up, and I start to zip up the pants, and everything's just feeling great, and it's perfect. And then there's no zipper. It's a button fly. And it's not even for style because the buttons are hidden, right? So now it's like, I don't want to have to unbutton my pants every time I have to, do my business or whatever. It's like, that's just so inconvenient. So here's my campaign to stop it with the button fly jeans as a functional purpose, because it has no great function, right? Let's just stick with zippers unless it's for a style reason. There you go. That's today's trivial complaint. All right. I'm gonna do what I hear a lot of podcast people do, which I enjoy. I'm going to read some comments. Oh, wait, I don't have any comments yet. So leave a comment so I can start reading comments. Now, I do have comments on social media, and actually I've been doing this thing at the end of my keynote talks where I get feedback from the audience through this form that they take on their phones. And I got a couple really cool ones this last time. And so I thought, well, since I don't have any podcast-specific comments yet, I'll just read some comments from my keynote because it was really cool, really uplifting. It kind of is in the zone of testimonials. So hopefully you're okay with me sharing like some testimonials about my keynote. So here it is. It said, this is about my keynote. He was quick-witted and fun and consistent on keeping us focused on believing that we can do anything we put our minds to with gratitude. Wow. I mean, they like summed up my keynote speech right there. I love that. I do want people to believe they can do anything they want to and stay in that heart of gratitude throughout the entire process, which really aligns with today's enjoy the journey, right? Even when things aren't going well, enjoy the process, right? Don't always be thinking about, I want to be there, Like, enjoy where you are right now. So I love that. Here's another one. This blew my mind, okay? They said, I have witnessed hundreds of keynote speakers and presentations. Devin was the most inspiring and impactful to myself and our team as of yet. Wow. I wanted to read that because there's times where after a keynote speech, sometimes I feel like, did I truly connect? Did people really get the value? Even after doing this for, speaking for 13, 14 years, I wonder, did it really land? I question that sometimes, which we'll save the more depth for that for a future confession of a motivational speaker. But it's just so awesome to get this kind of feedback. That's why I love this new instant form that I'm using that people can do on their phones, because it's like, oh, I did connect, so awesome that their team was impacted. If that's you, thank you for leaving that comment. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to get into the heart of the matter now, talking about today how to enjoy the journey. And the best way for me to really share how maybe you can enjoy your journey is how I've enjoyed mine. I'm going to tell you a little bit of my journey today. I've shared some of my backstory. Today, I'm going to really focus on how I've gone from a children's entertainer to a corporate speaker. right? Because there was like this growth, and I didn't know when I first started as a children's magician that I was going to end up being a corporate motivational speaker. So that was a journey, and how did I enjoy that journey, and what happened sometimes when I was not enjoying that journey. All right, so my early gigs, right, when I started doing this professionally, I was mainly doing close-up magic, meaning like sleight of hand right under people's noses, card tricks, think like David Blaine, close-up stuff. And then when I would get on stages, I didn't really have a stage show to start with. And someone's like, "Hey, I worked at an after-school daycare for years," which it's going to be a whole nother podcast talking about that experience. But I worked in after-school daycares, and someone there, I was always doing magic tricks for the kids, card tricks, and someone's like, "You should do a show. Like, you should put on a full magic show for the kids." And I was thinking, well, I can't really put on a show because I just do these close-up things. Only about 5 people can watch at a time, where, we had like 50 kids. How are they all going to watch at once? And so it really started making me think, are there tricks that I know, or are there quick tricks that I could learn that I could do on a stage where all 50 kids could watch at once? And so I accepted that as a challenge. Like, okay, in a few months here, at the end of the year, I'm going to put on a magic show for these kids, and it's going to be a show. So I started just, digging through my repertoire of everything I had done that might play to a bigger audience. And I started looking in some of my magic books and videos and just collecting, kind of coming up with a set list of things that would work. And it happened. I finally had my first working full 30 to 45 minute magic show. Well, this after-school daycare that I was a part of was a network of other after-school daycares that were in this county, Johnson County, Kansas. So it was Johnson County Parks and Rec. And so I started reaching out to the other after-school daycare directors and saying, "Hey, would you like me to come do a magic show?" And this was then in the summertime, so I was visiting like each summer camp, getting paid extra. So this, like getting paid to come do the magic show, not just like what I was getting as a Parks and Rec employee. And so then I started to like refine this kids show, right? And that was really the beginning of the journey of like doing a stand-up act. Well, I did about maybe 20 of those shows, and through that process, I really learned how to entertain children, and that was just, I don't know, easy for me to learn to connect with them. I think because I had been working in after-school daycares for over half a dozen years. I just knew how to talk to kids. I knew what they thought was funny. I knew what they thought was amazing. I knew how they would react. And boom, I was a children's entertainer. So then I started marketing myself as a birthday party magician and had a website and really featured how I could entertain kids, and used colorful props and used the birthday kid as the featured assistant for the grand finale trick, right? So I was loving this. I mean, that was like the beginning of my career. I was doing magic in restaurants and then also doing children's shows and birthday parties. And I was perfectly happy. I was like, this is all I need. Like, I'm making a living doing something that I absolutely love. Well, as time went on, I was kind of like the only person that I knew of, like maybe like 2 or 3 other magicians in my area. Well, as your awareness starts to broaden of there's other magicians doing maybe even more impressive magic tricks and making more money, I started thinking bigger and bigger, and I'm not just happy here right now. I want to be here. Right? Which I think is a good idea for us to always be thinking, something greater is always possible, right? Which is my life's mantra. But what happens in there is sometimes I get to a place where I'm not happy here. I'm only going to be happy when I get up to this next level. And to me, enjoying the journey means being happy with where you are right now. And yes, having goals and being excited about the next level. But as you're climbing to the next level, finding joy every day where you are, giving thanks, not complaining about trivial things, not negatively comparing yourself to other people who are already at that level that you want to be, but just having faith that if you persist, you will eventually get there. And yes, you have to put in the work now, but enjoy that process, right? Don't let all of the good things that are happening right now pass you up. don't miss them because you're so focused on the next level. So that's what it was for me. Okay, enjoying the journey, and so when I was present, I could enjoy that process. So then I started to think, okay, I want to do bigger audiences. And then I decided, well, I want to do adults, right? I want to be able to entertain a group of adults because I knew that I was kind of in this like niche, this little limited market of just children's birthday parties. And I thought, what if I could also do shows for adults? Now, I was already doing sleight of hand at cocktail hours, but I was thinking, okay, what's that look like? Well, I couldn't do the same show for adults and for corporate audiences that I was doing for children. So I started to do more learning, refining, learning tricks, more mind-blowing tricks with some mentalism type things that are like, mentalism is like in a sense like mind reading. Okay. I'm doing air quotes if you're listening. It's mind reading. And I'm sure we'll talk about that later. The difference between what is magic, what is mentalism. And so then I started to build this corporate show, and then what I was doing is I was always on my website, I started marketing to where I wanted to be, right? The look on my website, we've eventually took away birthday parties off of there, kids shows, and then put corporate magician, corporate entertainer. Now, was I still getting calls to do birthday parties? Absolutely. And did I keep doing them? Yeah, for a time I did. There was a season where there was like this crossfade where I was still doing kids shows, even though I wasn't marketing them because I had enough, past clients in my wake that still had my number and still knew that I could do that. But I was trying to get away from that, right? And so I started raising my prices, trying to price myself out of that. And eventually I did, but it was a process. And so that was even a time where my enjoyment would ebb and flow, right? It had its peaks and its valleys. But it was that next level was always exciting for me to get to that next place. And so then I'm a corporate entertainer, so I'm making more money doing corporate events, felt more rewarding. It was more challenging, right, to entertain adults than it was kids for me. So then eventually I was doing a full-on mentalism show, which was like all the hard-hitting, mind-blowing tricks. And at the end of one of those corporate shows, someone approached me and said, "Hey, you need to be a speaker." And I've maybe shared this before. I was thinking, that sounds boring. I don't want to speak. What would my message be? And she said, I used to work for a speakers bureau, which are people who connect speakers to organizations. She said, just have lunch with my old boss and just pick his brain, see what he has to say. So I did. I had lunch with Brad Plum, and he convinced me, you can still do the magic that you love. Just add your message to it, and it's going to open more doors and create more opportunities for you. You're going to also not just be entertaining people, but bringing value to people's lives, which is going to make you more in demand, more appealing. And so I started making me realize, well, I think there's more potential. There's like some untapped potential in what I'm doing, right? Like I have more than just this entertainment value. Why not entertain and inspire? So that started my journey of, okay, what is my message, right? And Brad encouraged me. You've been traveling already as a professional magician for about 10 years. You have stories. You have experiences that you can share with people that lessons can be found in to add value to people and to organizations. And so at first the message was kind of forced, right? So the beginning of the journey was a little rocky with, okay, I was trying to use a lot of magic metaphors. And then over time, the message started to take shape, and I started to realize what was really important to me and what things that I've learned from life are value to business. So that was a journey, and I think about this as to, fast forward to where I am today. Now I have this signature keynote called Something Greater is Always Possible, which really is a culmination of many keynote speeches that I wrote over the years, right? At one point in time, my first keynote speech ever was schmooze 'em or lose 'em. So it was kind of a customer service sales type thing, like, be kind to people, talk to people, and or otherwise you're gonna lose their business, right? You're not gonna cultivate their relationship if you don't keep engaging with people. And then it turned to more, it was like, share your magic. What is your magic? What are the magical qualities about you, your personality, your passions that when you share that magic with other people can bring value to their life? And then from there, it kind of went to, I wanted to be more of a comedian. So I had a keynote called Crack or crack up, which is my wife came up with that name and it's brilliant. Crack as in like go crazy, or laugh about stressful situations. And so it was kind of like really how to deal with stress and use humor to work through the hard things of life. And then I had one called, what was it called? Something about failure. Epic failures lead to epic breakthroughs, I think is ultimately what we called it. And so that was really about, what are the things, you can learn from your biggest challenges, your biggest failures, and your disappointments in life that can propel you forward. Well, I finally got some coaching, and this was a big part of my journey. This was right before COVID. This was back in 2019. I was ready to really amp up the business. I knew I was coming up on 20 years of speaking, and I was like, okay, let's take this thing to the next level. I hired a high-end production company to produce a sizzle reel for me, like a really awesome video demo, and started realizing if the demo is going to be this awesome, the speech has to be that awesome or awesomer. And so I found this incredible speaking coach who helped me take all the pieces of those 3 keynotes and boom, like jam them into an uber keynote, the best parts of each one, and really bring it to a theme. Like what is really at the heart of Devin Henderson that makes me special, makes me unique, that I'm passionate about, and passionate about helping other people with. And that's the fact that something greater is always possible, which is the title that my coach came up with. She just saw that theme in my life from just talking to me and drawing out my stories and my interests. It's just so great to be living my purpose now, so here I am, about to finish 20 years of being a professional entertainer / speaker. And it's been a crazy journey. And in future podcasts, I'll share more details of the whole experience. But I just want to encourage you today. I'm guessing you're like me. There's times where you're enjoying the journey, and there's times where you're very much not enjoying the journey. Like maybe right now, wherever you are in life, maybe you're working 2 jobs. Right? Maybe you're working a job you don't get to see your kids as much as you want to. Maybe you're just going through something really hard. Maybe you've experienced some tragedy, sickness, setback, and it's not a fun part of the journey. So I want to encourage you today that I really do believe that even during the hardest times, we can still give thanks. Always give thanks. And that, to me, is the first step in enjoying the journey, to look back on your successes, on your blessings, and to say, wow, even amid all these hard things I'm going through, look at all these right things, these awesome things that have happened. And maybe everything that's happening that's not the way that I desire is meant for some greater reason. And those 2 things right there can bring you so much peace. I know they bring me peace, and they help me enjoy the journey more, to always give thanks, and then to remember that maybe these hard circumstances were for a greater reason. So I have just a couple of application for you today. I wrote some questions down, right? And I don't know which question might resonate with you. So take the question that inspires you the most to take action, okay? So here's the first question. Have you reflected on your journey? That's the great thing for me about a podcast, is it's a place here to kind of look back and document this in some way. So have you journaled? Have you had coffee with a friend lately and just said, can I just tell you about the last decade or 2 of my life, just so I can reflect on my journey? The other question is, what journey are you on right now? Okay, where are you at in the process? And if you feel like you want to attain that next level so bad, are you enjoying the current place you're at right now? What journey are you on? Third question, what journey lies ahead of you? Like what journey are you not even on yet that you're going to have to overtake? I think of sometimes people having to take care of elderly, like if their parents are getting older and someday they know they're going to have a move in with them, and they're thinking, okay, that journey is ahead of me, or, retirement's coming up, or what journey is ahead of you, and are you fearful of it, or can you get excited about it somehow right now? Can you do something to make that journey more appealing to you? Okay, so what can you do to enjoy the journey? Just a couple quick tips that I wrote down. Slow down. Breathe. Slow down in this moment right now. Maybe Just take a big deep breath. All right. Just be present. Be present and aware of what's going on and where you are. Sometimes we're running so fast we forget to just stop and look around us and enjoy the moment. Okay. Get off your screens. And I know that I'm posting this on your screen, or if you're listening to it. Recently I had someone call me a hypocrite because I was saying, hey, less scrolling, more strolling. And he was like, you're a hypocrite. You're putting this on a screen when and you're telling us not to be on screens. But I was like, well, I'm coming to the place where maybe you need to hear it, and it's the place maybe you need to like back off from a little bit. So I'm not saying, hey, throw your phone into a lake. I'm just saying, hey, maybe, I know for me, sometimes getting off the screen helps me enjoy the journey a little bit more. That way I'm not comparing myself negatively to people. I'm not wishing that I was on someone else's journey. I can enjoy my own journey. Spend time with people. Like this one's a challenge for me. Look at me. I'm alone, right? I went to Tampa Bay. I was speaking to, 6,000-7,000 people. But it was still a very lonely experience because everyone's busy and I'm just kind of doing my thing. I have my family, but I have to really be intentional with my time with friends. So spend time with friends, family, people. Like I said, journal, meditate, pray, always give thanks. Those are tips. I just want to reiterate. And then I've kind of sprinkled this in too. Don't compare yourself to other people, right? You've heard comparison is the thief of joy, and it's easier said than done. What I always confess to people, man, I compare myself to people all the time. They're like, yeah, you need to not do that. I'm like, well, how? Right? Well, this was such a deep struggle for me that I was sharing with my speaking coach, and we actually have a segment now of my keynote about comparing yourself to other people. We call it the illusion of insignificance. And the illusion of insignificance states that since someone else is further along than you, then what you're doing is meaningless. And so what I found the way to overcome this is the next time I find myself saying that person's better than me, just stop and realize that's an incomplete sentence. Just complete the thought like this: that person's better than me at being who they are. Right, because what if your goal wasn't always to be the best, but to be your best? And then what if your best is the best to the people that you're meant to serve? Because if our greatness is all about us, what's the point, right? If it's about us, it's never going to be enough, right? But if our greatness is used in service to others, that's when you can rise above that illusion of insignificance. So I challenge you with that today, serve someone with your greatness. I've been around I've seen a lot of homeless people in the last couple days being in downtown situations, and I met a guy named Shots, and we chatted for a while, and he, asked for money, and we just got to chat about all kinds of things, and it just really gave me a chance to slow down and think, wow, here's a guy who's just experienced a hard life, some hard things, but this guy, somehow he was smiling, he was laughing, he had joy. I was like, man, I feel like he has more joy than I do today, but I feel like I have more, I'm more blessed, right? It's, again, air quotes. I'm more blessed than this guy. But he found joy in the journey, and it's funny because my whole point was really about, serve someone else with your greatness, but even someone who's in, to me, one of the hardest circumstances you can be in is somehow seems like he's enjoying his journey. So learn something from Shots today. Doesn't matter where you are. Enjoy the journey and for sure use your greatness in service to others. Okay, well, we'll do this. Speaking of comments, let me know in the comments. Here's my one question that I'd love to hear from you on, whether it's on YouTube, another social media platform, or on the podcast. What are you going to do today to start enjoying your journey? Let me know, what are you going to do today to start enjoying your journey? I'd love to hear from you. Okay, this has been so great. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a great time, and remember, something greater is always possible.